Welcome to Training for Academy. In today's class, we'll be performing accuracy assessment using the ERDAS Imagine. Accuracy assessment is the process of evaluating how correct a classified image is by comparing the classification results with reliable reference data. This reference data can be field survey, high resolution imagery, or existing map. Now, the essence of or the importance of accuracy assessment is to validate your land cover classification, which you've done. And this is the interface of the ERDAS Imagine that we'll be using for our accuracy assessment. Now I have my satellite data here, which is answered 8 satellite image, which was gotten from USGet Earth Explorer. It comes in various bands. These bands they are stacked together to form a multi-band composite image, which shows a true color combinations where red represents vegetations. And also I also have my study area map here, which I've done. So I have my study area, which is my area of interest. I have to clip out the area of interest here, which is a local government in Osun State, Nigeria, known as Ipedu local government. So this is the local government which I'll be working on to perform my accuracy assessment. Then for you to perform accuracy assessment, you need to have done supervised classification. So this is my supervised classification which I've done. So this is what I'll be using as my for my accuracy assessment. And for you to do your supervised classification, what you need to do, just go to raster. Under the raster, go to supervised, then you see supervised classification. Before you do your supervised classification, you have done your training sample, picked out your training sample for your land covers using the signature editor. So once you are done, you perform your supervised classification. Then from there, you go to accuracy assessment, where you click on accuracy assessment. Then you have your window. You have a window like this that will open for your accuracy assessment. Then you go to file. Under file, go to open. Then locate where you stored your supervised classification. Like I said, you need your supervised classification to perform accuracy assessment. Then this is it, supervised classification. Then I'll click OK. Then once I've done that, the next thing I need to do is to create a sample point. So I need to create a sample point. Now if you have your survey data for your reference data, you don't need to create a sample point. All you just need to do is to import your sample point or your survey sample points for each of those plant classes that you've done. So once you have your survey data, or you just import that and you use that as your reference point. Since I don't have that, so I'm going to be creating or adding a random point for it. Then once I've done that, it gives me this. So it's going to ask me the number of points that I need to create. So for the sake of this class, I'll create a lower sampling point, which I'm going to creating let's create a minimal number. So let me just create 10 for example. So I'm creating a number of 10 as low as 10. But for a standard workflow, please don't create 10. So you have to create minimum of 1000 for you to get each of those classes right. Minimum of what? 1000. But for the sake of this class, this is just an explanation. For the sake of this class, so I'm creating as low as 10. But in a standard workflow, don't create 10, please. As you can see here, so I'm creating 10 just for me to explain all this. So after that, it's going to ask me to pick distribution parameters. So we have the random, we have the satisfied random, we have the equalized random. So I'm going to go in with the random points. Then from there, I'm going to select the classes I need to participate in the numbers of points that I'm picking. It's not a must for it for all the land cover that you've classified to actually participate. You can select them. So that's what we are doing now. So I'm going to be selecting them. So let's select this. So I've selected this 4. So these are my classification for those land cover. I have vegetation, I have built up area, I have wetland, I have water. So once I'm done with this, so I'm going to press OK. Now when you check this output, you can see that I have 1 to 10. So these are my random point between 1 to 10. If you are doing one to if you pick 1000, so we're having 1 to what 1000 as your point data for you to make reference to. So since I picked 10, so I'm having 10 here on my list here. So the next thing here I need to do, I need to display where these classifications are. This classification that I've picked, which is the random point. So I need to display that on my satisfied, on my supervised image here. So I need to display that. So I'll go to view, select, then click on this, go back there again, then I'll go to view again. Then once I get to view, I show all. So these are the points, these are the 10 points that I need to verify or validate in my supervised classification. And so for me to do that now, let's know what each of these points. Now for my own classification, this is my classification that I've done. So I want to know each of those class. What are the points? For this point, I need to know, okay, this particular point to what classification did I pick? So for me to show this class values here, you just go to edit, and once you get to edit, go to show class value. So these are the class value that represent each of these points here that is on your supervised classification. For you to know what each of these class represent, just go to attribute table here in your content plane, go to display attribute table, and just drag this a bit up. So as you can see here, 11 here represents vegetation, 12 represents built up area, 13 represents land, and 14 represents water body. So these are the numbers, these are what the numbers represent. From there, so now it's for us to pick our reference point, fill up this column that is here. So for me to fill up this reference data here, so I'll be using the Google Earth Pro to validate my own classified image. So as my reference data that I'm using the Google Earth Pro. So before I do that, let's go to home, then go to inquire. So I'll be using this to place each of these random points to know where I'm going to pick. So let's add our Google Earth Pro now to our map. Okay, so alright, so this is my Google Earth Pro, which I'll be using for my classification as my reference data. Alright, so the next thing I need to do here is to okay, from here put this one here, place the macros. Alright, so we'll be going with the first one here. So we'll be picking the first one here, which is the first one, number 1 here. So according to this point, so I have 11. Like I said, 11 is classified as what? So let's check. Go to attribute table. So 11 here is classified as vegetation, right? So we want to verify if truly this vegetation is actually vegetation in our reference data. If it's not, so we have to pick the right one and put in the reference column there. So you copy this points, this S and Y, you copy this S and Y into this place here. Let me just change so you get to understand better. So click on this. So this is my S. So this S value here, I'm going to write it here, and this Y value here, I'm going to write it here. So at the end of the day, I'll copy this into this coordinate into my Google Earth Pro to check if truly that is correct or not. Alright, let's do that quickly. So we're doing the first one now, which is we have. So for the first one there, I have what's it called? I have C6. So for the first one, I have C6. C6 84. I have C6 84. C0 point 0. Then for my y, I have 87, I have 875850 points. So once I've done that, so I'll just press enter. So automatically it will take me to that point, which is this point here. So I'm going to copy this now. I'm going to copy this the way it is now. I'm going to copy that into my I'm going to copy that into the Google Earth Pro. This coordinate. I'm going to copy this coordinate into the Google Earth Pro. But for my Google Earth Pro, I'm going to be using the lat and long. So I'm going to change this to lat to the longitude. So I just copy everything here like this, and I'll paste it in my Google Earth Pro. So I'm going to paste it here, then search. So automatically, so it's taking me to where that point is. As you can see now on my Google Earth Pro now, this is where it's taking me to. Make sure that this area is what? Vegetation. So let's check what I classified according to my own classification. Now this is my reference data, which is my Google Earth Pro. So let's check what I've classified according to my own according to my own, so my own table. So 11 here is what? Vegetation. Like I said, you can check your attribute table to know what those class value represent. So for 11 you have what? Vegetation. This is actually what? Correct. So I've validated that particular point. So I'm going to come to my reference table here. So I'll put 11 there. So I've done that. So I'm going to go to the next one, which is this. So 12 here is what is 12? 12 I have. So what is 12 here? So I go to my attribute table to check what 12 represents. 12 is bit up here. So I need to check if truly this 12 is actually bit up here in my reference table, which is my Google Earth Pro. I need to check that. So for me to do that, I'll go to I'll copy this number here into this place to actually convert it to lat and long. So that's the essence of this particular window here. So I want to convert this into lat and long, which I'm going to copy into my Google Earth Pro. So let me do that quickly. So let's change back to map. So I'm going to be copying this into lat and long. So for the second this now I'm having 6 3 6 0.000. Then for my y, I'm having 87. For my y I'm having 86 86 58 8658 90.00. Once I'm done, press enter. So it has taken me to this particular point on my map here. So let's check if truly this is actually correct. So let's break this into one, then change this back to lat and long, latitude and longitude. Then copy this, then go to your Google Earth also. Let's remove this other one, then paste it here. Paste, then you search. So let's check if that area is correct also according to our classification. Alright, so as you can see from here now, okay, so what did I classify this particular area as? So I'll go to my attribute table. So we said that the first one here I used okay. So the second one here, which is 12, I classify this particular point as 12, and 12 here represents built up area. So 12 represents built up area, and my Google Earth Pro, which is my reference data point, actually having what? Built up area. So this is correct. So I'm going to come here, I'll give it what? 12. Now press enter. So let's do the next one. So the next one here is going to be number, we're going to the third one now, which we're going to write out this point also. Go to map. So we're going to write out this point now, which is the third one here. So the third one here, I'm having C6 720.000. Then for my Y here, I'll be having 86 86 8681 8681 70.0. Alright, so let's so as I said, so this is the third point we are having. So as you can see now, you copy exactly as this number is now, which in your S value, this is my S here, as well 666. So as you can see now, it's written as, so as you can see, this is the third one here. So it's written as 66. So I have it as 66 here. So this is my S value here, and this is my Y value here. So you copy exactly as it is here. So just paste it here. So once you are done, then you change this to latitude and into which you are going to copy here, and you paste it in your Google Earth Pro as your reference based data. So you come here, remove this and paste on it. So once you've done that, go to click on search. So you want to take us to that particular area. So it's going to take us to that particular area. Sorry about that. So let me do it again. So this is that particular area. Okay, let me copy that again. So this is that particular area. So what I have here is vegetation. So this area has been classified as vegetation. So this area at that point was classified as vegetation. What did I classify mine as? So I want to check that. So I said so this particular third point 11 has vegetation. So I have 11 as vegetation. So let's see if in my attribute table, let's check the attribute table here. So 11 is actually vegetation. So this is correct. So I'm going to come here, I'm going to give it as 11. So this is correct. Now I'll go to the fourth one again now, which is this. So I'm going to write this number. Same thing, change back to map. So I'm going to write this number back to S and Y, which is the fourth number. So the fourth one is going to give us 67. So delete this part. So you do this for every point data you are creating. So imagine that you're having 1000, so you have to do this for every 1000 point data. You must finish everything for you to get the perfect accuracy. So 671 671 340 340 points. Then do the same thing for your Y. Do the same thing for your Y, which is what 878940.00. So once you are done, So once you're done, same thing like I said the other time. So so in the fourth point here, which is this one. So I have as what 671.340.00, and also I have it as what 87 for my y. I have it as 878940.00, which is the fourth one, in the fourth point. So once you are done, you change it back to lat and long, then you copy it into your Google Earth Pro to verify if what you've done is correct. So here's my, I'm going to use my Google Earth Pro now. So I want to wipe out this particular point that is there. So I'm going to paste the fourth point now, or the fourth point I've taken. I want to take that. So let's see where it's going to take us to. Okay. So it's taking us to this region, like what I have here also. So this is the region it's taking us to, this region. So let's check what this particular point, or what I've classified this point as. So on my table I classified it as 14. The class there is 14. So what does class 14 represent? So let's go to our attribute table. Class 14 represents water body. And in my reference data also, my reference data, which is my what is it called, Google Earth Pro. So 14 here represents water body. So this is actually correct. So as you can see it, water body, this is correct. So I'm going to go back to my reference table. So I'll give it 14. Right. So the next there I'm going to do is I'm going to the fifth point. So this is the fifth point now. So I'm going to do the same process. So you repeat every process into this for you to get your accuracy assessment. So I'm going to do that also. Go to your map, change this back to S and Y. Then I'm going to copy that particular point, which is my S for the fifth number, as so have it as 669900.00. Then for my Y, I have it as 87878940.00. So once I'm done with that, so I'm going to press enter. Alright, so it's going to take me to this particular tiny spot here on my map. So as you can see, this is where it's taking me to. So let me check what this value actually even represents. So let's check from our. So let's check. So it's at 11. So our class there for that point is 11. So what is 11 there? So let's go to our attribute table to confirm what 11 represents. So 11 is what? 11 is vegetation. Right, so 11 there is vegetation. So for 11 it is vegetation. So let's check if truly this is actually vegetation or not. So 11 there is vegetation. So I want to be checking if that is correct in my classification. So go to our Google Earth Pro now. Then copy, change this back to latitude and longitude. Then you copy this. Then you paste this in your Google Earth Pro. So you paste it here, then search. Let's see where it's going to take us to. So say 11 is vegetation, and also, so let's see if that is correct. So 11 is vegetation. So this is where it's taking me to at the same spot. Let's check. Right. So 11 is actually vegetation. This is where your water stop. So it's like a massive vegetation also. So this is where your water stops. So this is for water. So 11 is actually what? Veggie. vegetation. So this is vegetation. So this is vegetation area actually. So this is actually what correct. Though there's still a bit of water flowing into the vegetation, but this is actually a vegetation what area. So we're going to name that as vegetation. So 11 is vegetation. So you keep doing all this till you are done with everything here. So we're going to the sixth one. So for the sixth one, so I have six is so I'm going to copy the same values also into this point here. So I'm going to copy that into this point for the sixth value now. So I'm going to copy that as but let's move this. So I have six is 810 810.00, and also I have delete this. So I have 874560.00. Once I don't press enter, so this is where it's taking me to. So let's check. Let's verify this in our Google Earth Pro now. So I'm going to verify, change this to lat and long. Put this as one. So copy the same value into your Google Earth Pro. Let's so delete this. So I'm going to be deleting this. So I'm going to be deleting this now. So delete and search for it. So it's going to take us to where that particular value is now, or that class is. So I'm still having vegetation here. At the end of the day, I'm still having vegetation here. So I'll come back here. So 11 is still vegetation. So I'm going to change that as what? 11. So enter. So still vegetation. So you repeat this process till you actually are done with the whole point sampling techniques. So at the end of the day, we can now. So let's assume that this 11 now I misclassify it when I check my reference data. So I have 10 here. So I have 12 here. I have what's it called 12 here. I have 10 here. So once I'm done with everything here on my accuracy assessment table here, so once I'm done doing everything, so the next thing I need to do is to go to my reports. So I have to go to my reports here. Then click on accuracy reports. I have to click this to generate my reports. So once I've done that, so it's going to show me my reports, my let's see how the report is going to look like now. Alright, so like this process is actually very stressful, something that is time consuming. So when you are doing accuracy assessment, it's something you have to keep doing. It was imagine like you have 1,000 points that you need to create or you need to reference. So you have to do it one after the other. It takes time basically. So this thing takes time to do. So it's not something that is just you spend few minutes. It can take you a longer time to actually generate a report like this. So it's a process, the time, and it's necessary for you to actually perform accuracy assessment. It's actually very, very necessary for you to do accuracy assessments. Right, so it's going to take us some time to actually get that report. So you just have to know your reference. What data are you using to compare with your classified image? You have to know that. So for you to actually use that as your comparison to what you've classified and what your actual classification is. All right. So this is how the report looks like basically. So let's go down to what the table we actually need in this our report. let's check. All right, so this is the report. So this is our report basically. As you can see, this is our overall classification accuracy. So I have 70% accuracy. So at the end of the day, when I compare my classified image with that of the reference data, at the end of the day I got 70%, which is still good. So having 70-80% is still, at least you should be having like 80-90% for your accuracy to get it. So for you to know like what you've done is actually perfect. So yeah, having 70-80 is still okay, but at least 90%, 80% is still better. So this is my accuracy report. So out of the 10 classes or out of the random point data that I've taken, right, I miscalculated or I misclassified 3. I got 7 correctly. So I misclassified 3. I got 7 correctly. So this is how the report is. And for you to get this, just do 7 over what 10. What you got correctly over the total sampling point times what 100. So that will give us 70%. So this is my accuracy percentage, which is still good. I failed just 3 classes. Then and this is the overall kappa statistics. This is overall kappa statistics, which is what 0.5588. This is overall kappa statistics. So your kappa statistics should be towards 1. So the closer it is, the more accurate is your classification. It must be going towards 1. So it has to be going towards 1. So the more closer it is to 1, the more the what you've done is correct. So if you're having something lesser or away from 1, just know that what you've done is you still need to check your classification. If that is actually what you've actually classified, you need to still run or do your classification again. So it must be heading towards 1. So this is how your accuracy assessment is being done. Then you can save this document and share it to people. So this is how it is being done. All right, so thank you for today. See you in the next class. All right, bye.